Okay, Shavua Tov, dear friends. Nice to see you. Bezat Hashem. Just a quick insight in the Parsha, something amazing I saw. The Parsha says, right, that Moshe Rabbeinu did not want to take on the mission of going back to Egypt to bring out the Jews. Why? Rashi says, because he didn't want to take leadership over his brother Aharon, who was older than him and who was already a prophet. He was already a prophet in Egypt for over 80 years already. Okay? So Moshe Rabbeinu didn't want to take this leadership over his brother. So Hashem told him, go to Egypt, don't worry. The wording Hashem uses in the Pasuk, V'ra'acha v'samach belibo. He says, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, don't worry. Aharon's going to see you and he's going to be happy in his heart. He won't have any contempt over you being a leader over him. He won't feel any jealousy over anything. So Rashi on the spot quotes the Gemara. The Gemara is Masechet Shabbat, page 139b, I think, where it says, Rashi is quoting the Gemara, that says, because of this, because his heart, Aaron's heart was so complete in his joy towards his brother, he merited to have the breastplate, the Choshen Mishpat, placed on his heart. Okay? So the commentators ask, what's the connection? Because now he saw his brother with a full heart, so why should he merit to have the breastplate? What's the connection between the breastplate, the Choshen Mishpat, and him being happy with a full heart? So the Maharal says, number one, that in order for the heart to have for the Kohen Gadol to have this merit, to have the breastplate on it, the heart has to be complete. And the heart to be complete has to have a full joy. So because Aaron had such a full joy, that shows how complete his heart was. And because his heart was complete in his joy towards his brother, he merited the breastplate to be on his heart. The Ben Ish Chai, he had something else. Ben Ish Chai in his book called Ben Yoyada, he says like this, of the organs from the top to the bottom that have a control over a person, so you have the eyes, the nostrils, okay? You have the mouth, so you have 2, 4, 5, the ears, 6, 7, the hands, 8, 9, and the heart is number 10. Going from top to bottom, the heart is the 10th limb or organ of the human body that has a control over a person, can control a person. So because now, he says like this, the Ben Ish Chai, because his heart was so complete in his joy, and he felt no remorse and no kin'ah, no jealousy towards Moshe Rabbeinu, he merited this 10 plus the joy. So the word for joy in Hebrew is simcha, but the root is sameach, shin, sin, mem, chet, right? So you have sin, mem, chet over there. Okay? So you have sin, mem, chet, plus 10, it's the 10th one. So plus 10 is the gematria choshen. You got it? The choshen is then, the choshen is now the result of the simcha plus the 10 over there, okay? So Aaron had complete joy. You have to ask yourself now, in such a situation, why did Aaron have such joy? I mean, he's your younger brother. You're already a prophet. You, Aharon HaKohen, have joy. So because this is connected to the lesson 24 that we're learning, because Hashem told Aharon in prophecy, go out to the desert to meet your brother Moshe Rabbeinu before he enters Egypt. So Aharon went to meet him in command from God, and knowing it's the commandment of Hashem, Hashem wants that my younger brother and he's even a new prophet, shouldn't be the one chosen. So because he knows this is the will of Hashem, this is a mitzvah, so Aharon was happy with this. He was happy that, number one, he's doing the mitzvah of Hashem to going out to greet his brother, in order to show that he's now being inaugurated to be a leader. So all this was a mitzvah, and Aharon was doing it with such joy. That is why he married the Choshen Mishpat. What's the Choshen Mishpat? The breastplate had in it holy names of Hashem, right? And they're called Urim Vetumim. Urim Vetumim meaning that they would shed light in giving a message, and the message was Tumim, Tamim, complete. In Aharon's lifetime, it wasn't used. When was it used? It was used after Aharon passed away and his son Elazar became the next Kohen Gadol. When Yoshua bin Nun, who was then the leader after Moshe Rabbeinu, needed to consult with Hashem, should we go to war today against this nation, against that tribe? Should we go to war or should we go to battle? So the letters would shine, and only the Kohen Gadol could see it and recognize the message, yes, no, in the combination of letters, okay? The Ramban, I can't give any examples right now because I don't know it off by heart. He gives examples like how you can mix up letters and understand them in two ways. It could be, for example, Yehuda Ya'aleh, the tribe of Judah should go up to fight battle, or does these letters, Yehuda Ale, can mixed up as Al Yehuda, Lo Yehuda. You can mix up the letters in a different way. So only the Kohen Gadol had the divine prophecy to read this, okay? In our context, this is something amazing. Aharon had such joy in knowing that he's serving Hashem and doing the will of Hashem, and that he's going out to greet his brother, and that he's bending himself to his older brother, and that he's happy knowing this is the will of Hashem, which in our context means, even though you feel it's a setback, you know this is what Hashem wants. An example, you want to daven nets every morning. I want to daven shachrit on time and everything. But I have a problem. If I go daven nets, no one is at home who can successfully wake up my son on time, and my son has to wake up right at the time of nets, meaning, or I can go to shul and daven nets, or to stay at home, miss nets in order to wake up my son on time. And I know what I really have to do is to wake up my son on time, because no one can do it except for me, in order that he should be in school and be on time and everything. So here I understand that I have my joy and delight in davening on time. And I can say, too bad about my kid, and let them at home try to figure out how to wake him up. Or I can say, but this, I have to take care of this. So when a person realizes he has a setback in his personal devotions, it's hard for him to swallow it. But he knows this is the will of Hashem. Hashem wants me to stay in misdavening nets in order to wake up my son properly, that he should be on time for school. And I know this is the will of Hashem, even though it's at a cost, like Aharon. Aharon, he was already a prophet 80 years in Egypt. Rashi brings that down also, that already Eli Cohen was hinted to. It's a prophecy, Haniglo Nigleti, I revealed myself to your ancestor, to Aharon, and it was for 80 years already. He was taking care of the Jewish people as a prophet. Moshe Rabbeinu was gone for over 70 years when he left Egypt until he arrived in Midian. It's a whole midrash, it's a whole story. Aharon was already established as being a Kohen, okay? He was already established there. And yet, he knew that this is the will of Hashem. And he's happy about it. It says in the Pasuk, we just read it this morning, Vayishaklo, it says, and Aharon kissed Moshe, he was so happy and excited. So he merited the Urim Vetumim. What does Rabbi Nachman say in lesson 24? He says, by Simcha of a mitzvah, which in this case, in our context, the Simcha Aharon had in this mitzvah of listening to Hashem, to go greet his younger brother in order to inaugurate him, to show his acceptance that you are the leader. Even though I'm older than you, and I'm technically the leader, I'm bending myself to you because this is the will of Hashem. So Aharon doing this mitzvah b'simcha, like Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, don't worry, Aharon's going to be happy. V'ra'acha v'simach belibo, he will see you, and he'll be so happy in his heart, which Rabbi Nachman teaches, the main place of simcha is to be in the heart. When you are doing a mitzvah b'simcha, this brings joy to the heart, which Rabbi Nachman calls the divine presence, elevating the divine presence. So back to Aharon, he merited to this, to what's called the Urim Betumim. Urim, in our context, is also Or. Or is Gematria Ein Sof, the infinite light. Aharon merited through this joy in doing this mitzvah to the infinite light, which is the idea of the breastplate being on him, with its direct connection to Hashem's messages at the highest levels. That's the idea of Or, Urim. And then, like Rabbi Nachman says, after you have this experience, you get smashed back down, and you need to accept the bounce back. And you can only accept the bounce back if you have what's called emunah, faith, which configures in the format of simplicity, which in Hebrew is tmimut upshitut. The word tmimut is like the second word, urim vetumim. Tumim is tam, which means complete, but it also means simplicity. Because Rabbi Nachman teaches, when you're striving to go higher and higher and higher, and you get exposed to this infinite light, like it says in lesson 24, and then you're bounced back, the bouncing back, you're accepting it is dependent if you have emunah, which reflects itself in tmimut upshitut. I accept what Hashem did to me. I accept the bounce back, and I accept it with simplicity, tmimut upshitut. This is Urim Vetumim. Okay? But that doesn't explain why is it called Choshen Mishpat, the breastplate, the Choshen of justice. How does that fit in to this, in this context? Rabbi Nachman says in this lesson that when we succeed in serving Hashem with joy, and then going up to the infinite light, and then being bounced back and accepting the situation with simplicity, then the joy that's developed because of this accumulates with when finally, when Mashiach comes, the Goyim themselves and the evil forces themselves will bring us back to Hashem. They will bring us back to Hashem, and it'll be the total nullification of the nations who are evil, the people who are evil, and the klipot, the evil forces, also will be totally nullified. He says at the end of lesson 24 that you, the evil yourselves, you will bring us back, right? It says, he brings verses there, Rabbi Nachman, at the end of lesson 24, how when Mashiach comes, there'll be so much joy, crazy joy. All the nations will be bringing back the Jews from wherever they're spread, in Chicago, in Timbuktu, in New Zealand, wherever they are, to bring them back out of joy. And the evil will be obliterated. All the evil people who were against the Jewish people will be nullified, will be executed, if you want to say, plus all the evil forces. This identifies with the purpose of the Choshen Mishpat, or at least the examples were given. When was the Choshen Mishpat used? It was used by Yehoshua when to ask questions to go to war or not. To go to war against who? Against evil enemies of the Jewish people. And that's called Mishpat. Mishpat means justice, but also Mishpat, like Rashi brings down, has many interpretations. One is, for example, the justice execution of a punishment, to give Mishpat. When someone is deserving of punishment, in Hebrew, you can use the term Mishpat. So Choshen Mishpat is the execution of the enemies. That's thanks to the holy parchment that was put inside the fold of the Choshen Mishpat called Urim Vetumim. All this through the simcha that Aharon merited. So it's funny. Aharon merited the Choshen Mishpat, but it was never used in his lifetime. In other words, he didn't have to use it. It was used by his descendants, the future Kohanim Gdolim, the high priests after him. They used it when needed to go to war. The classic example is Elazar with Yoshua bin Nun, okay? All this to show the power of simcha hinted to in this week's Parashah. V'ra'acha v'samach belibo. This is what Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, that Aharon will be happy. And through that happiness, he will merit B'ezrat Hashem to all the goodies that come as a result, the Or, the Tmimut, and the Mishpat executed the enemies. Okay, gotta go to Davin. Shavua Tov, everybody. We'll be in touch, and all the best. Kol Tuv.